Welcome back everybody to a new video. As you can tell by the lack of hat and shades and I'm looking pretty rough, I am deep into the winter arc. Today I want to talk about why working on yourself is overrated. I feel like right now at this point in time in our Western society, whenever something happens that throws you off, a tragedy, a breakup, a setback, a downfall, people are always like, take a step back, take the time to work on yourself. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with working on yourself. The problem is that far too many people take working on yourself as basically withdrawn from life, withdrawn from the social life, going into their little cocoon, going into hiding, and doing all those things. Now, if there's one thing that I can tell you hasn't been on the other side, hasn't had cancer twice, and haven't almost died a couple of times, I cannot stress this enough, and I promise you that if you're healthy and you've never had like a very serious medical issue, you're not gonna know, even though you think you know. Time is your most valuable equity. Time is literally any and everything, and that's why I am fully opposed to the idea of working on yourself, going into hiding, and just basically checking out. You consistently have to continue to put yourself in a position to allow the universe to help you. You have to be able to get lucky. You're not able to get lucky. You're not able to stumble upon something. You're not able to manifest anything from your bedroom or from your basement or from your mom's house. You have to put yourself out there, even if you don't feel like it. And I'm speaking to people now that are going through depression, and I know when you're in that mode, the last thing you want to do is go and see people and go and be social. But you have to look at it as a bench thrust. You have to look at it as an exercise. You have to continue to put yourself out there, even if you don't feel like it. Don't give too much credence to your emotions and your heart. Trust me, that ability to actually go outside and mingle as a healthy person and to move on your own 2 feet, that is a privilege that you should never take for granted. Okay, you can work on yourself and continue to do this at the same time. The two things do not have to be mutually exclusive. In a previous life, I used to be a hardcore sales guy. I'm sure you're not able to tell, right? I was working at this company in Stockholm, and we basically had the task of making about 130 cold calls every single day. So the whole day we were hammering the phones, and the idea was basically that if you call 130 people with an absolutely ridiculous offer, one of those 130 is gonna say yes. Like 1 out of 130. And I would say it's probably even less than that, especially because what we were selling was some bullshit. I'm not gonna get into that, but shout out to Marcus Evans, man. That's the company's name. Dodgy as hell, but I had a good time. They taught me a lot. But my point is, it really is a numbers game, all of it. And that always stuck with me, the experience that I gained there and what I went through there. And when I had my cancers and when I was trying to put together a plan to crawl back up from the depths of darkness in which I found myself roaming, it just kind of stuck with me. Like, if I continue to physically put myself in position to meet people that can further my life, further my happiness, it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. But you do have to do it. You physically have to put yourself in a position to get lucky, all right? And that's why, guys, like, honestly, and I'll use the dating context because that's an easy one. I know there's a lot of young men watching this channel. Like, use the dating apps. Don't be scared to use the dating apps. Don't be scared to get after it, and just swipe away all the swipes you have on a daily basis. You're putting yourself in a position, so even if you're not having, you know, the gall to leave your house in a physical manner, at least put your digital self out there and get in your swipes every single day, the same way that you're getting in your reps, your curls, your ad crunches, whatever it is that you're doing to work on yourself, right? And I just cannot stress that enough. And that's also the reason why I moved to Mexico City. Once again, I basically made an analysis of where I would prosper the most, in which type of context I would have the most unique profile. And lo and behold, obviously that is Mexico. Alright? You have to make a plan, you have to make an analysis. Stay down until you come up. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, and look at all the opportunities and positives that come with being a lonely bastard and not having anybody, you know, besides your parents, obviously, and some friends that really care or you know, about you or love you. The big pro is that you're free. You can literally go anywhere, especially if you're young. You don't have the mortgage holding you down. You don't have kids holding you back. You have no responsibilities. So if you're in that position today, let this be the wake-up call, alright? Stop focusing on working on yourself. Focus on taking action. Be bold. If there's one thing that today's society requires, it requires you to be bold. It requires you to have an irrational self-confidence. You have to put up shots. You have to stir the pot. Anytime I feel like I have no motion, I just start stirring the pot. And stirring the pot means basically trying to make waves in any and every way possible. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can come in the form of YouTube output through videos, it can come in the form of me swiping every day on dating apps, it can come in the form of me dialing in my diet, getting more lean, but mainly putting things out there. Like, you're basically throwing messages in a bottle out there, and you're planting seeds. And the more shots that you put up, the more messages in a bottle that you throw, the more opportunities you have to actually get lucky. Manifestation does not work without your help. You have to put yourself in that position. The same way I had to put up my 130 calls a day to potentially make a sale, alright? And I cannot overstate this. Don't withdraw. Don't go into your turtle shell and work on yourself for a year and then think you've done something. You haven't done anything. You've just logged out. You've just checked out. The world keeps spinning. The game keeps going. Alright? Better find a way to find that fire to motivate yourself and to step out and make waves. Stir the pot. Any type of action will always trump not taking action. Okay? Even negative action. So, like, this is gonna sound like weird advice, but if you're choosing right now, it's gonna be Saturday when I put this video up. If it's Saturday night and you're torn in between staying at home, watching a movie, working on your novel, you know, doing some yoga, or you're thinking about, or you have an invite to go outside and drink some beers and mingle with people and party, yes, you're gonna have a hangover, but guess what? You're also gonna have an opportunity to have fun, to be bold, to make something happen, to stir the pot. Too many young people these days, like, I'm all about health, I'm all about mental development, I'm all about being, like, making smart decisions, but too many of y'all are trying to be adults too early. Like, in your 20s, guess what? It's okay to have a drink. And this is coming from, like, the most disciplined fitness dude you can imagine. It's okay to get drunk in your 20s and to do something crazy, to do something wild. Again, it's called stirring the pot. Take action. And there's nothing wrong, guys, with being delusional, alright? I've been delusional ever since I've had my face cut in half, basically. Because guess what? Like, that's kind of what I had to do. Because the minute that I choose to be 100% logical and rational, it's gonna be a pretty hard day, you know. Because I've been dealt some pretty bad cards, so I flipped it. I find a way to flip it. I became a Viking. I became a YouTube content creator, not because I have a passion for videos, not because it was my lifelong dream to have a YouTube channel. No, it was because I noticed people staring at me in the streets. So I figured there is some energy here. You know, you can call it bad energy, you can call it positive energy. It's just energy, it's just semantics, all right? It's man-made words. It's energy, point blank. So I noticed that energy, and I made an analysis and came up with a way to funnel that energy into a way that I could benefit from it. Now, if people are staring at me in the streets, they're gonna click on my video because I'm in the thumbnail and they want to see the freak show. So there you go. That's why I started a YouTube channel. And so you can like turn any and everything into a positive if you just think about it long enough and if you're just creative enough. And a little bit of delusion sprinkled on top. Never hurt nobody. Irrational confidence. Look at me. I'm an actual Viking wearing a Gold's Gym pump cover in Mexico City, filming myself while everybody around me is looking at me like I'm crazy. But guys, it doesn't matter. None of these things matter. None of these people matter, nor do I. Not one of these people is gonna go home later and tell their family about this crazy guy they saw filming himself. And even if they do, it has no effect on me. It doesn't matter, alright? Like, none of this life stuff, none of this society stuff is that serious. Don't try to be a straight edge, non-substance abusing person when you're 20. Live a little, do something wild, stir the pot, put yourself out there. That's what it's all about. Create waves, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Make a fool out of yourself. Start a fight. Fuck it. Really, it's better than sitting at home and convincing yourself you're doing something because you're supposedly working on yourself. You're not working on yourself. You're going into hiding. Fuck, I just ran a red light. That could have been it. I feel like that's a nice full circle moment to me talking about time being your most valuable equity. I could have gotten ran over right there. Luckily I didn't, but that could have been it. Tomorrow doesn't exist, guys. None of this stuff is promised. Alright? Put yourself in position. Get those swipes in. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't try to be a perfect, mature person. And one more thing. Don't ask and don't listen to too many people's advice. Because it's gonna be some cookie cutter stuff. You already know, man. Like, that's the one thing, and I know I'm kind of regurgitating a video I already did. But you gotta figure this stuff out on your own. You gotta be bold, you gotta be brave, and you have to stir the pot and put yourself in position to get lucky and achieve and obtain a better reality. That is you putting your 130 calls in a day, same way I did. Talking about that, I'll end this video with some bonus content. So the way it's funny, this is not related to the video at all, it's just a little funny flashback. So I was a key account manager at this hardcore sales company, and the way that we would be trained. So first of all, do you guys know the movie Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino? There's like a scene in that movie where Al Pacino does this epic speech. If you haven't watched it, go YouTube it, it's amazing. So they would rile up the troops all together Monday morning, get us in a conference room, and they would show the Any Given Sunday speech, literally, on the screen, and we would literally like, run out, pumping our, beating our chest, like ready to sell, ready to get those calls in. And they would train us to bypass the gatekeepers, meaning like the assistants and the people at the desk who are like managing the decision makers, the CEOs, the CFOs, who are basically gatekeeping people trying to contact them. So it's a little hack. They taught us to find out the contact info of the IT help desk of the company that we were trying to pitch to, right? So next thing, we would call that IT help desk. We would come up with a fabricated story about how, you know, I had a meeting with such and such, and that's where you name drop the big names, but we were stuck in Tokyo airport and we missed our flight and my BlackBerry died. So we would tell the IT help desk people, like, hey, can you go into your system? No, can you like let them know that I'm not gonna be able to make this like high profile meeting? Now, most of these people that work at these IT help desks, guys, they're all like young expats, and they're all like people that don't care about the company. They're usually contractors, like they don't care. So you coming to them with a story about them having to inform some CEO or a CFO that you're not gonna make a meeting, you're bothering them. So then, after that, we would offer the solution. We would say, you know what? Actually, never mind. Just go into your system and give me such and such direct number, because everybody has like a so-called LDAP, which is like an ID within the context of the company. So they can just, you give them the name of the CFO, of the CEO, whatever, and they can see the private direct number. And they would gladly give that up, because then you would no longer be their problem, and they could close the ticket, because all people in IT help desks are trying to do is close the ticket, right? So then you would get the direct number, wait a day, and then call the number directly. And we wouldn't say, good morning, sir, good morning, this. No, we'd be like, Joe, it's me. So good to talk to you. And because these people, these decision makers, are so used to networking and being at big events, and they're meeting a ton of people every single week, they don't remember everybody they've met. So you addressing them in a very informal manner and being like, hey, what's up, Mike? Like, acting like you know them, they would automatically assume that you in fact know them. And then you could basically leverage that into a pitch and convince them and hopefully get them to like your pitch, get them to like your personality, because remember, you're always selling yourself, you're not selling the product or the service, and to get them to sign up on it. So yeah, that's what I used to do before I got sick, guys. It was a wild life, and it has nothing to do with the beginning of this video, but I felt inspired to share that today. Alright, that's it. I think I'm done talking. Leave your comment below about what you think. Tell me if it resonated with you. And don't forget what I said. Stir that pot. Peace out.